Hi guys, welcome back to Wednesday Night Live with Izzy and Rek. Well, we are on episode 3 now. We're knee deep into this.
Yes.
We've already introduced ourselves, what we do in the industry, photographer, DJ, entrepreneurs, parents.
Now we can get into the juicy stuff.
Episode 2 is the juicy talk.
No, but I'm talking about, yeah, that's true.
But yeah, this is where we just discuss anything and everything, business and parenting. How we navigate juggling both and still maintaining to like each other.
Look, we still don't know how we do it. So I think talking about it maybe can.
I feel like it's more exhausting acknowledging it. What we do, huh?
Yeah.
Like we're pointing it out.
It's a nice pat on the back sometimes, though. Wow.
I'm tired still.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I wish that pat on the back came with a nap.
Right. Oh, nap sounds so good.
Right.
Oh,
So technically, right now in our recording time, it's like midnight.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it is.
But we were kind of on the late train because we were supposed to shoot Wednesday night, but entrepreneur life, I had a lot to do, and so I had to pick my battle and say, hey, I need to catch up on all of these senior sessions that we're editing. I'm knee deep into senior season. So, and about to start our Mother's Day season. So all of my holidays are just overlapping each other. And I said, oh my God, I can't shoot tonight. We can do it on
we technically still
day.
did our Wednesday night live. We had a guest.
I still went live on my social media page on Facebook. I know.
Miniature guest.
Dinosaur, we still use Facebook. I had my daughter Jade, who's 6 years old. She came and she did a raffle with me for our clients, and it was a lot.
I think you juggling just the conversation and then juggling Jade,
making faces, but it was cool. At the
end, she was just bouncing a bouncing ball in the background.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm trying to talk and I see this ball bouncing in the corner of my eye. But I mean, that's life. I mean, sometimes the kids are still up and we're trying to get some work done, and this is how it goes.
It was on her agenda, though. She knew.
So she knows that we have this podcast.
Yeah.
And she saw the get up one day or one morning, I think. Yeah. And she has talked about it nonstop for like a week or two. Like, Mom, can I be on your show? Can I be on your show? But I want it with like the microphones, and like she wants the whole experience.
Yeah.
She watches a lot of other like kid podcasts, and so that kind of played a big factor into her wanting wait into it, of her wanting to do a show as well. So we'll see. Maybe we'll put something together for her. But so I figured, you know what? Let me see how she does, because she is 6 years old, so her attention span is like this big.
Oh yeah, it didn't last more than
30 seconds. No, not even 15 minutes. It was like 30 seconds. Typically, when I go on live, I'll talk anywhere from like 20 minutes, sometimes to like almost an hour, depending on what I got to cover.
No, you guys had a good segment.
It was like 17 minutes. Yeah. And half of it was like, stop.
Jade,
stop. Jade, stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was an interesting week. We actually just came back from our city's art hop here in downtown Fresno. It's become a big thing, and it's just a big like night show, and it's at least eight blocks?
Yes.
About 6 or 8 blocks long.
It is.
On one of our historical streets on Fulton Street, and it's held every first Thursday of the month. And
it used to be to where you would have to really walk there. Now it's like, I feel it's literally in our backyard now. Like
it's like
everybody
it's like a huge festival here. Every first of the month here. It's really cool.
We're
kind of at the end of it and like 2 streets over, so we don't get that.
But today I've seen a lot of people in this area though.
But you know what? Because we're diagonal right here from Arte Americas. And
I know,
they were having an event too. But we get a lot of the traffic, like the parking, and then people walking over there. But
usually it hasn't been like that. Like it's getting
pretty big, and it's real cool. So if you live near the Central Valley, come on out. First Thursday of every month. It starts at about like maybe 5, 6 o'clock, and it'll go till about 10:30 sometimes, depending on the weather. But I mean, it's all street art, artists, DJs. There's music on every corner, bands playing,
tacos on every corner,
tacos on every
bacon wrap hot dogs. It's the best.
The entire street. They block off the entire street for, I want to say, the full 8 blocks. And so people can, you know, walk through the street, and there's food trucks just lined up all the way down. A lot of mom and pop shops. We tried out a donut. It's donut holes.
Well, that's the cool thing about it. Is I was
tonight.
telling Izzy is everybody involved is just on their brink of like just starting their business or have had their business, but still it's like ran by people. There's no real organization behind it besides Downtown Fresno Partnership, which kind of allows things to happen on the areas that you can, like where you can drink, but that's all kind of closed.
And it all
off.
kind of happens on good faith. It's
Yeah,
not like you have
exactly.
an officer on every corner. They
Yeah.
are around, but I think they kind of just let the experience happen, which is fantastic
it's
because
really cool.
We've never had something
seen
like this.
Anything, but see, like we're around LA a lot. We're around San Francisco a lot. There is nothing like this.
I've seen a couple, like some festivals, but it's
a festival.
highly organized.
Yes, exactly.
You know, highly organized.
This has just been a trend.
Yeah.
That's just been happening and
And
happening.
it started small in
It
the
started
Tower
very
District,
small.
and you know, it was like a bar hopping thing. And you know, if you were, say, a photographer, an artist, you had to talk to the venue, like a bar, a restaurant, to host you, to let you put up your work and have people go in.
Now,
and view
if
your
you want
work.
to sell some tacos, just grab yourself a 6-foot table and a canopy, and let's get
Let's
it
have
cracking.
some tacos. Yeah. But
It's
if you're
awesome.
an artist, you can just, as long as it's first come, first serve, and you go,
Yeah.
you set up your table, and there's all kinds of people. They sell vintage clothing, people that, you know, they make snacks,
Make things, everything.
It's cool. And I love the fact that it's so inclusive to the 18 and under.
Yeah.
Because before, I mean, you had to be 21 and over to go into any of the bars where that hosted you.
Yeah.
So it was a very much an adult drinking thing. And you know, there were some places that were all ages that would host, but we're talking like 15, 20 years ago, and now it's turned into this once they remodeled a lot. Not remodeled. What's the word? Revitalized our downtown area, and it's now I see nothing but young kids.
It's a young kid thing.
It's a young kid thing, and it's like they look forward to it too. My son is in the music scene as well, and so he goes out there and supports all of his friends. He's got friends that have little clothing brands out there.
It's so cool seeing this.
And
I love it.
even the bars, we have a like full circle brewery. They have they do an outside show, an indoor show, and they were hosting, what was it called, a goth prom
I don't know.
or a goth, like it was like a
I
goth
thought it was like
night.
an emo night.
Emo night?
I don't know.
No, I think it was the goth prom. I don't know. Well, okay. Well, either way, they hosted something cool for the kids, and so my son, you know, is just like, "Hey, can I have some money?" And he takes off. And I don't feel like it's an unsafe place. You see a lot of families out there, even until 9 o'clock, with their babies. Everyone's really respectful. I feel like the culture has definitely changed.
I love that it kind of feels like a village thing. You know, like where our small towns, like where our parents are from, and they have like these crazy like parties in December.
That everyone's invited.
Yeah,
and you just
feels
show
like
up
that, and I'm like, this is so. I love it. I think it's so awesome, and I think it's awesome that Christian is at an age where he can enjoy it.
Yeah.
and it gets to enjoy it with his parents. I think that's pretty awesome.
And he's not like, as far as I know, he's not like that kid that wants to run off and hide so like he can sneak drinks and
No, he's never been,
smoke
no.
weed or anything. It's very positive.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's very respectful. Everyone brings out like their personality through their clothing. It's very artsy fartsy. I love it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's really
I
cool.
think it's cool. At some point, we made it all the way to a couple of Omar's friends at DJ, and they had like a patio area. We had like a bucket of beers and, you know, some, you know, finger foods and stuff, just to kind of sit and hang out and just kind of absorb it. Like
Yeah. It was cool.
I people watch a lot. So every now and then he'd hear the, oh no. And just, you know, just looking at the styles, looking at everything that comes along, you know. I feel like we're so cocooned because we work and live at the same place. We go to the same places to go shopping, pick up prints, pick up items for the business, that I feel like sometimes we get stuck in that little cycle of just even what's supposed to be like our going out becomes work. Yeah. And this was very much, yes, we saw a lot of people that we knew in the industry, but it's more just to kind of rub elbows and say hi, and it's not work related. There's really nowhere to do work there, you know, besides saying, hey, hi, and running into clients, running into other photographers. We ran into a few people. I loved it. And it was a nice break, and just to kind of take in the culture as to why we live in downtown.
Yeah.
So I very much thoroughly enjoyed it this time around. One time we went and it had been raining and we didn't get to do anything.
But you know what? Ever since then, it's been cracking.
Yeah.
I think people felt like they wanted it to happen so bad, and it's just kind of like how COVID happened.
Yeah.
And then just everybody's like, no, let's get to it again.
Okay, let's support it, because if not, it's gonna go away.
Yeah.
They're gonna close it down. Yeah.
We didn't even make it all the way back. There was still a lot of stuff going on in that place where we passed by CVS.
Oh yeah.
Like,
we didn't even get to see all of it.
There's so much going on today.
But I was breaking in some new Nikes and my feet were hurting. You know, like when your toes are hurting so bad, you're walking like this now just to kind of not feel that pain. Yeah. I was like that. So by the end, once we sat down and I rested my feet, I wanted to go back.
Time flew by. So also, by the time you said it was like 9:30, I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, our babysitter
got to leave at 10. I'm like, man, we got to cut it out.
I have a feeling she was supposed to leave at 9. And
probably
I was like, hey, we're looking for Christian, which we technically were, but
sitting down,
we were just on the other side of the blocks. But I had a good time. And then this last weekend we had Omar's son Lewis's 10th birthday party. We hosted it at Blackbeard's for his friends from school and just a few close family members, nothing big. We wanted to make sure, because I mean, between my circle of friends, his circle of friends, and then Lewis's friends from school, it would have been a massive party that we told ourselves we weren't going to overspend on our parties, even though it still turns into that. We had a whole snow cone person, and it was not necessary, but it was nice. We enjoyed that too. We thoroughly enjoyed it. We were giving away whole pizzas because we totally overspent, but
at least everybody ate.
Yeah, we just invited very close family and friends that his son actually does interact with and hang out with. And I hope none of my friends, took it personal. But at the same time, I mean, I wanted to just make sure that it was just about Lewis and, kids that he is actually always around.
And who knows, we've only been together for 2 years. We're going to be hanging out with more people.
At some point, he'll meet everyone and meet their children. But that's kind of what my intention was for this one, is just also because we were providing all the wristbands for the kids.
Oh, my God.
They were not cheap. No. I feel like the Blackbeards was more expensive than had we just done it at John's Incredible.
Yeah.
But it was a different experience. There were rides. It's a big theme park,
that he wanted. So he did the Five Nights of Freddy, and in a way, Blackbeard's isn't the most modern.
And we weren't about to do it at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, no.
But it has that feel and that vibe, and the whole they have a carnival section. They have
it was cool.
Race cars and water boats, and then an arcade. So it very much fit his theme, and we always let the kids pick their place that they want to, host it at. So he picked Blackbeard's, and they've actually done a lot of restorations there as well. And the park is beautiful. So if you haven't been out there, the same thing.
And they do have.
It's a really cool amusement park. I keep calling it theme park. It's a really cool amusement park.
Even though the bracelets were expensive, the fact that you have that area all day is actually worth it, because
made it nice.
You're not forced to leave.
You can bring your own food.
You can bring your own things. And actually, if we would have gone in the canopy areas or the bigger areas, you have a little more leeway to doing certain things as far as barbecuing, things like that.
If you wanted to barbecue or have a taquiza, but I wanted to be a little bit closer in the central area, so in order to have that party spot, you couldn't have certain things plugged in.
Little ones to look after.
Yeah.
And we just didn't want that much space in between us having to look after them and still enjoying the rest of the day. So it worked out. I think it worked out perfect.
I think he had a good time, and I think it was a success. I found a random wristband in my pocket later that day. I was really sad.
We should have given it to my dad. My dad probably would.
He wanted to get on. Could have gotten all the kids' rides too.
Yeah.
He's so petite.
Yeah, he kept hiding away and putting beer in his Stanley cup. Yeah, that's why I kept leaving.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, him and my dad.
Oh my god, I can't take you guys nowhere.
Yeah, remember I had a can of Monster the whole time. My dad kept bringing us here. You look like you need some energy. I'm like, oh, thanks, Dad. I definitely need some energy.
Oh my, you guys are terrible.
My dad.
I am not with them.
It was funny. My dad
We
is
have
hilarious.
done that at the park, though.
He is such.
Take kids and
He is
we
so
fill up our
young.
Stanley Cup sometimes.
For his age, he just acts so young. It's hilarious.
Yeah, he acts like a kid very much. He needs therapy. I'm sure he's got some.
Oh, he definitely has issues.
Yeah.
For sure. But he's fun, Grandpa.
But yeah, all in all, it was a success, and we all had a good time. I had talked about it earlier. Like we had a little bit of topics in mind because touching back, like business wise, on how we juggle this business and still maintain, the integrity of the business, everything. Like we do a lot during the week, and we're very active in our kids' lives. For those who are first time tuning in, I have a 5-year-old who is a nonverbal level 3 autism spectrum. There we go. A 6-year-old with ADHD, and she's a firecracker. And then we have Lewis, who is 10, and my teenage son Christian, who is 17, in high school, thinks he's an adult. Little rock star, plays amazing amazing guitar. Very talented.
He walks up today and goes, I'm beautiful.
Oh, goodness.
Oh my, go to bed.
Go to bed.
Go shower, go to bed.
You sound like your mom.
Yeah.
But we juggle all of that. Kids, there's 4 kids, 4 different schedules, 4 different schools, different regimens, sleep schedules, everything.
Then we have
routines.
Jade and Demi's older brother too.
Ronnie visits on occasion. Ronnie is Jade and Demi's older half brother.
Which is very much involved, and we keep him
He's still
involved.
very involved, yes.
Yeah, he's been a big role model to the girls, and Christian too. They got so close over.
Yeah, and I had told Ronnie from the very beginning when, me and his dad had split up. I said, you know what? Just because it didn't work out between me and your dad, that does not mean that I kick you to the curb. You leave relationships, not children behind.
Yeah.
So I let him know he was just always welcome at the house, and this is his house. This has been his house since he was 10 years old as well. And, he has every right to come see his sisters, and, he's always going to be received here with open arms. There was a time, actually, you know what, kind of going a little off topic, but staying on topic, but off topic. There was a time right before I had met Omar, that he had come to me, and he seemed a little upset, and he had said that his mom had told him, and his mom's very old school, so I'm not knocking her, she's just old school, and she had told him, hey, I know you like to go and hang out at Isabel's, every month and so forth. This was, already post separation, and she had said, well, you have to understand also though, once she gets a new man or a boyfriend, you can't really be going over there anymore. Like he's not going to want you there. And that broke my heart because you can tell he was very much hurt because it was, and unfortunately it is a reality that does happen a lot in these types of situations where, yeah, of course, when she's single, it's open arms, but then having another man come into the family and then seeing this, stepchild that she still has around, not all of them are going to be okay with it. And that's one thing that I kind of had always promised him. You know what? If someone cannot accept you, then that person's not for me. Yeah. And when I first met Omar, that's one of the first things I told him, well, when we started talking again, I said, I have the two babies, and still have Christian, and then I still have Ronnie as well. So I have four kids all together, and Ronnie is still welcome to come live here or come visit, whatever whatever he needs. I'm mom. I'm he can call me too, and he was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. And you'd be surprised though, like some guys were not okay with it. They were like, oh, that's weird. Like,
It's funny because
okay, well then you can go.
we stayed up late one night and you guys fell asleep, and me and him had such a grown up conversation, and he is a lot more mature though. Like, he's
A lot
gone
more
through-
mature than Christian, 100%.
He's gone through a lot, and I think I don't know. I think we just needed to have a conversation, and I was vocal about like this is still your family. Like, I'm coming into your family. I don't want you. I didn't want him to feel that I'm trying to boot him out because I'm coming in. Like, no, I'm still trying to also get your blessing. Get Ronnie's blessing, and he was very straightforward. But it was nice. I don't know. It was really nice talking to him.
And laying it out on the table for him to
Yeah.
know, and it's a reassuring.
Yeah.
He's still a young adult to where he might not know how to bring things up.
Yeah.
And he's got mixed feelings about everything.
But it's cool because I don't know why.
But he's a great kid.
He is a great kid.
We love him a lot.
He reminds me a lot of me growing up. Like, he was
Oh
very
my
popular.
God.
He is very popular. He did all the sports. Yeah, and we're into the same music. Like, me and him would stay up and like, oh, listen to this. Oh, listen
Oh,
to
I
this. And
remember
listen to this.
that.
And listen to this.
Yeah.
Like, me and Ronnie and then we wrestle. Like, we play fight. We act dumb. Like, me and Ronnie could definitely hang out.
You and
a
Ronnie
lot.
should date. You
I
guys
love
sound
Ronnie.
perfect. I'm kidding.
No, he's a good kid.
Yeah, he's doing, what? I will give him this. He is a very hard worker. He's in school, if I think full-time or no, part-time, huh? He's in school part-time. He's working out 2 jobs, one full-time job, another part-time job. Like, he has always been put in a position to where, since he was a kid, if he wanted something, if he wanted anything nice for himself, he had to earn it. And that instilled a lot of good work ethic in him. He's under my plan for his cell phone bill. He wanted a brand new cell phone, the latest model, And I told him, yeah, reward yourself. You're a hard worker, but make sure you pay that bill.
Yeah.
And, his job wasn't doing too well for a little bit. Once he finally got another full-time job, like today he sent me another payment for his phone bill. He's like, hey, and you have another one coming in 2 weeks. Like, he's catching up. He's being very responsible. At that age, I'm not going to lie. There's times that I went to my parents asking for help and I didn't pay that bill back. I was just kind of like, Mom and Dad, come save me. I got myself into another funk. And the fact that he is acknowledging, where he's falling behind or what he needs to take care of, I told him earlier, I said, hey, and I'm very proud of you. I'm proud that you're taking responsibility for your responsibilities, your obligations. There we go. But yeah, so we have a lot of kids under this roof all the time, and I don't know how we juggle it. And then on top of that, you do your DJ career. We do sometimes we do like throne deliveries. We rent our
weekends
drones.
are crazy.
Our weekends are crazy, but hey, sometimes we're stacking that
But,
cash,
like, honestly, like, I don't know. That's the only way I can. I
can't be stagnant.
I don't know anything else.
I've always been on the go ever since I can remember. And there was one time when I was like jobless, and I mean, before it was summer, I was jobless, and it was before I started my photography career. I didn't know what to do with myself for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But for me to start my next job, I sat there like an idiot. I was like, what do people with no jobs do? Like, there's nothing to do. Like, I don't even think I had cable at the time because there was no point in paying for it.
Yeah.
I remember, like, me and my friend Dre went on a bike ride. Like, it was doing nonsense. You know, like what am I
Just
doing at 2
filling
in
up
the
your day.
afternoon?
Just random things to do.
Yeah, but yeah, our life is always on the go. But yeah, so that was just kind of our week in a nutshell
Yeah.
of what we did. You know, the birthday parties, and then still working on top of that.
Yeah.
And you know what? A lot of people just ask how we do it, and we, and it's not to brag, but we, especially on my end with the photography business, I have created, I guess what I would call just a well-oiled machine, a system that works, and where we can take a lot of clients in a short amount of time, turn their photos around, turn their products around, teach, you know, my assistant or Omar how to, you know, do ordering, take orders, fulfill them, make sure that images editing is fulfilled, that we stay on top of everything, that messages stayed on top of. Because when it was just me, I was drowning. I was forever working. I was answering calls at all hours of the evening. I was, you know, I couldn't even go and sit and have dinner peacefully because I'd be replying to a client, you know, just trying to find that time until finally I'm like, let me teach and delegate all of this work. And it works, and it's just, but it's been years of crafting that system to where, okay, these pictures get turned in on the spot, these pictures for clients, you know, for that need more special editing, you know, they're turned around in this amount of time. And don't get me wrong, like there are times, especially with like maybe maternity sessions or like a big session, I'll fall behind, and it happens. We do our best to make sure that we correct our mistakes. And this is something that we had touched base on earlier. Kind of like that's kind of what makes it a professional business. And I think working at that caliber, at that rate, with that expectation and customer service is the only way that this whole ship stays afloat with the children, you know, with the business. And just our schedules, somehow we have figured out how to like link them perfectly.
Yeah.
But
Well, a lot of this has been premeditated because even we kind of knew we were gonna have to come down to a system. Even when I was working at the memorial place, like we knew.
we talked about what the schedule would be.
Yeah.
A lot of would be, okay, when we reach this level, how are we going to handle this? Because the last thing I wanted to do is find myself the way I did in 2020, where I went from my business almost being completely gone and just not having any clientele. I was going through a lot at the time. Oh, actually, I was going through a divorce. And by the end of that relationship, I almost had no business left.
Yeah.
I had hardly any clients. I was barely making it through life and just trying to, you know, raise. I had an infant at the time, and then a 1.5-year-old, and then, you know, my relationship was suffering, you know, in other aspects, and I eventually turned my focus around. After the separation, I turned my focus around back to my business. I was like, you know what? It's sink or swim now again, you know?
Yeah.
So now I really got to figure this out. And then COVID hit, and I'm like, I live where I work. So if this sinks, I don't have a house to live in either. So I had to make something work. It worked so well that then I became I was being, what was it, like, I was demanded. You know, I was on demand. You know, like the people were seeking my services more than I could stay afloat with. And I mean, I was not hardly sleeping. I was working all day. I was fumbling through the success. I didn't plan for it, and I feel like now. And it took me a while to kind of get on my feet and create a system, because I'm like, this whole not being able to sleep and, you know, staying up till 3 a.m. to edit, and it just was not working for me. And so I think that's why you and I kind of sit a lot of the time and we're just like, okay, when this happens, what is the schedule?
Yeah.
Because the last thing I need to do is hit a brick wall and be like, oh, I didn't expect this to happen, you know? We did hit a little bit of a brick wall a couple weeks back where my 5-year-old wasn't able to go to daycare no more.
That
And
threw us off
it
for
threw
a
us off
spin,
so
for
bad
sure.
because it was right before Easter season started, like 2 weeks before Easter season. She had turned 5, and because she's nonverbal, autistic kids tend to be a little bit more behind in certain milestones, one of them being potty trained. And so she wasn't potty trained, and her daycare lady, gracious lady, I love her to death. And she just said, I can't, unfortunately, can't take her. I'm willing to take her once she is potty trained, but she's 5 years old. I can't be changing her diaper. It just, she has to be potty trained in order for me to be able to take her. And so, we just and Chinga, we were scrambling, like redoing schedules. We even redid our studio hours, what times we can work, how can we juggle the kids. And so right now, I mean, roles are reversed. Stay at home dad. We've got stay at home dad, and if Demi's having a bad day or she just doesn't want to be upstairs hanging out, she usually likes to be in the room, hanging out, watching TV, jumping around from couch to beds to,
Yeah.
There's a scooter up there. She rides up and down the hall.
At some point,
But she has enough some days.
she has enough. And she
So
needs to
when
be,
that happens, he's ready to go,
Yeah.
take her to the park, run errands. So by the time he picks up Jade from school, I'm done with work. And it took some orchestrating of the schedule, but it works. And thank God we have, someone, a family friend that was also willing to help out with babysitting here and there on certain days. Oh, I'm getting too far from the mic. And, but damn, how we do it, I don't know sometimes, but as long as we stick to the schedule, it works out. But that one thing that we really touch base a lot on, and I'm really big on, is I understand that life happens, and clients understand that life happens, and there are times that I just have to tell the clients, hey, I'm so sorry, I need to reschedule you. I have a meeting, or a very important meeting with, my daughter's social worker or whatever, certain things that I have to just say, hey, this takes priority over everything. But I'm big on, I still want to remain as professional as possible.
Yeah.
How can we problem solve all these things? And so far we've been okay. we've fumbled, but we're okay. And then we dove into this whole conversation about what do each of us, in our opinion, what makes a business professional? Because we see a lot of mom and pop shops here, and some people think, oh, you have to walk into this fancy facility or it has to be a certain way. Like, at what point do you consider someone a professional in their industry or a business professional, and they transition from, oh, that's cute, you have like a little at-home business,
That's
or
cute.
you're starting out, oh, your little place is cute, you converted it. Like, at what point is it, oh no, she's got a professional business. Oh no, she runs this business professionally, or you're a professional in your industry.
Yeah. I think it's just accountability, consistency, being able to know when you fucked up and be responsible and know how you're gonna fix a problem, not just hope that the client doesn't say anything. Because what if you get a client that is very upset and has something to say? And I mean, you got to be able to either address the problem, if you have a problem, address the situation, and just know that you are going to have an answer for everything that can happen, for any mess ups that happen. But because it's not just always having the shirts or the business cards, even though that looks great.
Anyone can create a social media page,
TikTok or an Instagram,
and give themselves, a business name.
Yeah.
Anyone can, get some stickers made and some t-shirts made, and there's a way to look the part. And anyone, and the way social media is set up for us, anyone can look the part now.
Yeah.
How many times do we talk about, photography on more of that smaller scale of like, a family photographer, kid photographer. It became such a big hobby, at least in the last 10 years, where now you've got just anyone
Yeah.
picking up, a camera at Best Buy or anywhere, and, Costco having a bundle sale. And now they're like, hey, I'm a photographer. I'm going to charge $100 a mini session because I bought a background and I have these like lights,
Yeah.
Or even if they even use that, or they want to take pictures outdoors, they're like, hey, I'm a photographer and I'm going to charge $100 for an outdoor session. Well, at what point did you deem yourself a photographer? Did you entitle yourself as a photographer? Or, when people say, well, I have a professional business. Well, what makes you a professional business, or what makes you the professional? I got some good advice from a professor when I was in school for photography, and the way he worded it was, anyone can take a good picture, whether it be with their phone or a camera. Sometimes cameras are so superb in just their quality alone and what they can do, where you can put it on an automatic setting and it will spit out a great image for you. Whether you got it by talent or accident, But the true expert in their field, the true camera expert, the true business expert is problem solving. What do you do when things do not go right? What do you do when, the sun isn't overcast and it's not golden hour or at 7 o'clock at night, and the direction that they want to take their picture in is not with their back and, to the sun? Just anything, you're at a wedding and the sun is blazing right on the bride's face and their white dress. What do you do as a photographer to problem solve that situation? Because what are you going to do? Hey, can we move your ceremony over, 10 feet in this shaded area? No, you got to work with what you have. Or what happens when your trusty flash goes out, but you have a backup flash that you're not accustomed to using, or you just have the elements to work with. That's where your true expertise comes in, to be able to go to a new location, judge the area, use your understanding of everything that you've learned, that you've taught yourself along your journey in your field. And okay, how can I problem solve? How can I use all of my tools to my advantage? Because it's not the camera that makes you a good photographer. It's you that makes you a good photographer. It's the same thing. You got turntables from someone. I hope I don't offend anyone. You got turntables from somebody and they were unable to use them. You bought them and you're putting them to work the very same day. And you know that anyone can buy turntables. Anybody can buy music, and buy some speakers and say, okay, well, now I'm a DJ. Okay, DJ, but you don't know how to MC. You don't know how to even dress for the event. You don't even know what song they're walking out to. You didn't know that, reception's here, but ceremony is 100 feet away. You need a second setup. And you don't learn that unless you're in the field and working and learning and trial and error. And you're not going to come in a pro at the very beginning. What do? You go work with another DJ and you kind of pay your dues and you learn. Instead of screwing up someone's special day by just being like, I don't know, or, expecting the client to tell you everything they need. Sometimes the client will just say, I want this. I saw this on TikTok. I want this location. Little do they know, it's probably the worst location to photograph that. But you have to use your expertise. What do you tell the client? No.
Yeah.
The same thing. You're going to have a client that wants their ceremony outside over there underneath the tree, but they didn't tell you that it was, a mile away and you already set up your DJ stuff over here. What are you going to do? Just tell them no? Sorry, like you didn't tell me that?
You got to be able to figure it out.
You got to ask these questions. That's why you have itineraries. That's why you plan sessions. That's why you scout areas.
And that's I think that's what we're getting to the point of is what at what point are you considered a professional? I think it's when you have the answer to questions that the customer doesn't even know that they need to be asked.
Exactly, yeah.
Is all the boxes checked, even though the customer doesn't even know that that's something that's needs to be
Exactly.
checked.
Yeah.
The way I run my business is I have an outline, and technically it's the itinerary that I work off of. Anytime I have a gig, let's just say a wedding or a quinceañera, I send them the questions I have for them. But at the end of the day, it's just basic songs that they're gonna walk into. It's everything from the start of the day of the night to the end of the night, and it's based on it just has all the questions as far as the names, times, locations. Um, as long as they fill that out, they're going to feel a confirmation of, oh,
He
he
knows
knows what's going on.
Yep.
And the last thing you want to do is come to a wedding and say, what do you guys want to do? This is not something they do often.
Yeah.
You know,
I was gonna say that too. Yeah.
it's a one time.
You're gonna raise a question for something that maybe they didn't think about, because they can say like, "Oh, the mother son song," but they don't want to dance to the whole song. You know that usually 30 seconds, 45 seconds is long, more than enough time for the photographer to catch their shots, for them to be in the moment, but not feel like they're dancing. 2.5 minutes is a long time to just stare at someone, dancing in a circle, versus keep that show going. And I can almost say also on my side, 90% of the time, I will have a client that comes to me and says, well, we've never been to a wedding, or, well, this is my first wedding and hopefully my last. So I don't know how to plan this itinerary. And they opted to not go with a coordinator. And instead of just being like, well, you should have gotten a coordinator. No, like, in order to also knowingly make my job easier, hey, then let me give you a suggestion. Think of these questions. Do you want this or do you want that?
And on that note, as a professional, a sales professional too, that's when you come in with, okay, well, if you don't, I have this package that includes this, which is an itinerary, which is a lapel microphone for your pastor, or wireless, whatever it might be. Like, it's a second setup. Those are your upgrades. If you want to look professional, you got to be able to have those things available for your customer. Most times they don't know what they need.
Yeah.
Most times they don't know I need a second setup. Yes, you do. If it's inside and the ceremony is outside and you're expecting everybody to have good sound where you're at, how am I supposed to do that all the way from the back?
I can't count the amount of times that I've seen DJs go to events, and I'll even check in with them like, hey, do you have the itinerary? No. Oh, or they have something completely different, or they're just like, oh, well, they didn't tell me. So you chose to bring your $1,000 worth of setup, set it up. You probably spent several hours, and you didn't think to ask what you're doing today? You didn't think, like, you're not worried at the end of the day that you're going to look dumb? Because no one's going to look at the bride and groom and say, oh, maybe they forgot to give them the right songs. No, they're going to look at the DJ, DJing the wedding.
And then it's the same people that look at themselves like, why am I not getting paid what I should be getting paid? This is why.
This is exactly
why.
So that's why even when I would help you out with creating your pricing sheets, at first you were very hesitant, like, oh, I don't know if I should charge that. Because you were so accustomed to, and I hate to use the word, but you were lowballing, you know what I mean? Like, just to kind of, you were starting out, you weren't booking as much. And I said, no, you're going to work at a professional level. I work at a professional level. You're going to work there too. You know what you're doing. I'd seen you MC. I'd seen you DJ. I knew you could do it. And I was like, we're going to charge these prices. And this is how I think your upgrade should go. I'm not a DJ, but this is what I think you should do. And I even sent you that meme a couple of days ago. Like, look, don't feel bad to charge what you feel like you're worth, because you're not paying for the equipment. When a client is hiring you, they're not paying to pay for your equipment. Yeah. Your equipment is your tools that you come with. Like, when I hire a contractor or someone to come fix something here in my house, I'm not paying them the value of their tools. Yeah. I'm paying them for their knowledge. That's what I'm paying for. And that security that they're going to do the job right instead of me trying to do it my stupid way.
Yeah.
Or hiring someone that kind of may do it, has done it once, and no, I want it done right. So I'm going to pay the extra money or the right money to get that professional level. And that's kind of where I think a lot of people, when they hear these $2,000-$3,000 prices for these photographers and DJs, you're not paying to pay off my equipment. No. I done paid my equipment. Yeah. You're not paying for that. No, you're paying for my 20 years behind the camera experience, my problem solving skills, my skills of, hey, you know what? You haven't thought of this question. You haven't really addressed this. Let's address it. You know, do you want me to take pictures of you getting ready beforehand? Where are you getting ready? Is it in close proximity to the groom so I can get to both? Let's time this out. Yeah. Like, and it's an orchestrated, event by, all day long. Mm-hmm. And that way, so I'm at the right place at the right time so that I'm not over there taking a bathroom break thinking, okay, I've got 15 minutes here, but really I needed to be on call and on the dance floor. And that's what you're covering. You're covering, and to know that I'm not going to lose your pictures. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go straight, back to my studio and I'm going to download them and I'm going to back them up and I have a secure hard drive and I'm not going to erase them off my camera card until I know for a fact I've got all those 3 copies secured. Yeah. You know what I mean? The amount of horror stories that I have heard, and granted, knock on wood around here, but technical problems happen.
Oh, all the time.
That are completely out of our control. Absolutely. And it has happened to me only a couple times, but more so studio. I think it was just me still learning I don't know. I think I was using crappy camera cards in the beginning, and I had a session that didn't record on my card. Yeah. I took all the photos, didn't record in my card, but I think it was a slower card, so it wasn't recording as fast. And so I pulled the card out, photos were lost. That's only happened to me in the studio. Yeah. But because I've learned,
it's always be best. It's always best to be safe than sorry. Mm-hmm. So make sure you have everything backed up.
And sometimes you get a photographer that I watch. And when I get invited to a wedding, I do watch. And I'm looking at their photographer like, hey, homeboy, you showed up with one camera. Yeah. What happens if in the middle of this wedding you exhaust your shutter and you don't have a camera no more the rest of the night? Do you have a backup one? Because I don't see a backup one. Yeah. Because when I shoot, I always have, even if it's a lower brand, but I have my main camera, and then I always keep a second one on hand because, and it has happened to me in the middle of a wedding, the wedding shoot, like the nice photos you do afterward, the photo shoot you do after the ceremony, mid-ceremony, a gear in my shutter broke. And I saw something randomly like in my viewfinder, like a black spot. And I was like, what the hell is that? And I kept snapping to kind of see what it was. And it finally fell apart. I was like, oh shit, my camera broke. Hold on. Click, click, click. Got a new camera. And I didn't miss a beat. If I was just your cheap photographer, that you got on a budget because you didn't want to invest that money into it, then be ready to accept that gamble. Yeah. And you can't even hold it against them. No. Because I hate to use the word, but you wanted to be cheap or you wanted to cut corners or, for whatever reason,
Oh, heck no. I had a microphone misfunction because I don't know what. Malfunction. I don't know what happened to my power supply that, like the power cord to my wireless microphone.
Oh, yeah, this last weekend.
So I had to just figure it out. I only have like my handheld microphone, that cable mic, but my cable is only like 2 feet long. So I had to gather all the speaker wires that I can get, roll them up, and I just made a big old snake out of all of them, and I made it work.
And that comes with experience.
But if you would have had somebody that didn't know what they were doing, they would have been, you would have been asked out, no microphone. Yeah. Like, luckily, nobody knew but the pastor. Like, until at the very end, I had told the wedding planner. I'm like, hey, look, I had told the wedding planner, I'm like, hey, look, this is what's going on. And it even happened to where like we had missed, I think it was like a speech from the groom. And so I ended up, I was like, hey, you're going to be the DJ. And he's like, what? So I put the headphones on him and he got the microphone. So he didn't even know that I didn't have a wireless microphone. He just I made it.
You made it memorable for him. And you
like,
included
and she,
him.
even the bride
And
came,
improvised, yeah.
and the videographers were taking photos of him, like in the DJ
That's
booth.
cool because you know, guys don't always get that opportunity to do something, and it's cool. You know, it's cool. Like they get to be the DJ, put the headphones on, all of that, and that's great. Like that's just a way to problem solve.
I was stressed out.
And this is it, right? Oh no!
That day
don't get me wrong. We're like my camera had broken at the photo shoot part. I still had the reception to shoot, and I was just like, "Dear sweet baby Jesus, please don't let the second camera break on me." Like I don't know. But the thing is, it's half the time. Okay, I will take an assistant with me, and that assistant is probably just gonna sit down and watch my backpack. Yeah. But and it even happened this quinceañera. You know somebody went up jokingly to Dominique and was like, hey, you're tired already? And it had just started, you know? But she was sitting in the corner. And she's like, I wonder if they're upset that I'm just sitting here. And I said, well, no, like you're doing your job.
Yeah, nothing else for you.
Because if something happens, what if I break my leg on the dance floor?
Yeah.
Or somebody trips me, you know, and I hurt myself, whatever happens. I need you to be ready.
Yeah.
To either grab that camera, take the pictures, or you need to run to Best Buy for me or back to the studio because something happened. And I need you to go because I'm not about to take off on my own job.
Yeah.
And sometimes that is what I'm investing in on her. Or here, hold this light.
And that's what you
And that is it.
Yep.
But invest in yourself. Invest into your success. Be willing to do that. And that's going to set you apart a million times over, you know, from just anyone else starting out. Yeah. Know where you stand also in your quality. So if you do know that you still have work to do, even if someone does approach you with a big job, know that it's a big risk that you're taking. Know what responsibility you're taking on. And if you're not ready for that responsibility, instead of just being like, oh, well, I didn't know. No, that's somebody's special day. That's someone's special occasion. I've had a couple of events where, you know, a couple weeks after the wedding, the bride's father passed away. Like you're responsible for these important occasions where that might be the last time they see these important people in their life. And the last thing they need is the photographer to also lose the photos.
Yeah.
You know? And this whole, I don't know what it is with like, for a long time, photographers were going MIA on people. Like just not turning in work. And I get it. Like, not everyone has to have an office. Not everyone has to have a studio. But if you're going to hire someone that you met on social media,
get a contract.
Yep. Meet them in person.
Mm-hmm. Have a FaceTime, something.
Yeah. Or be willing to go meet them at their house. Because worst case scenario, your pictures are the most important thing left after besides your marriage, but you know what I mean? Like it's the one thing that's left after your wedding. Do it. You invest into that memory.
Yeah.
And imagine not knowing where to even find this photographer that you can't get a hold of. I know I know that I'm not easy to get a hold of, but this is the one thing I tell people. There is a sign on the door with the hours that we're open. Yeah. If for any reason, if say I'm tied up with my kids that week, life is just, you know, crazy. If I'm not replying to text messages or we just haven't gotten to the Instagram messages, whatever's going on, someone will be here during business hours. If for any reason we're closed, we'll post it on the social media pages like, hey, the studio had to be closed today, or we'll post something on the door. But I always tell people the beautiful thing about having the studio and you knowing where I work is you can stop by during those business hours. So if I don't reply, you know where to find me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to dodge you. You know what I mean? Like it will eventually get addressed. So I know that sometimes people get a little frustrated with not being able to get a hold of me, but that's the reality. It just, we still are business owners, parents, everything else, you know, in between. But imagine not having a place. You met this photographer at a Starbucks and you paid them, you sent them their money and they went to your wedding, photographed your wedding, and then you can't get a hold of them. And it's been weeks or it's been months. And I've heard these stories numerous times. I've even had people bring me their wedding pictures and be like, hey, we ended up going with this photographer. He was having a sale. I don't like the way my pictures came out. Can you edit them? I did that for somebody one time. I'll never do it again. I was just like, nope. So from here on out, like, nope, this is why you invest. Because sometimes I just can't fix a bad photo.
Yeah.
Or it's a lot of editing that we as photographers pay people out in Japan $5 a shot, And if you bring me 500 photos, you can multiply that by $5. Mm-hmm. And it adds up. I decided it's just not. I would have to charge more than they would have paid in my regular packages just to hire me. It's just not something that I want to do. Just the reality. I don't want to do it. It's a lot of difficult work to fix it. But that's all. It's just be knowledgeable of who you're hiring and keep a lot in mind. If so you just have someone that's just saying yes, 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 yes. Oh yeah, no problem. Oh yeah, no problem. Or I'll get that. Like, I would be worried. I would take a step back before signing a contract with them versus when you're speaking to a professional, because a professional is going to raise the questions that you have not raised or answer them already way ahead of time. Mm-hmm. I come in here I still have people come in here for what is essentially like it's a sales pitch. It's a sales pitch for their quinceañera, their wedding. I don't have them just come in here and just say like, okay, well, tell me about your event. What do you want to see? What are your concerns? No, hey, so this is what I have to offer. This is what this means. Let me show you some samples, blah, blah, blah. No pressure to sign a contract today. Feel free to keep scouting, but this is what I do offer. If you are scouting photographers, the photographers are always going to show their best work.
Yeah.
And that's great that you saw this photographer that takes beautiful pictures in a meadow, but you're getting married in a Catholic church that doesn't allow flash.
Yeah.
That is an extremely different photography game. So you need to find a photographer that you like that has shot a wedding inside a Catholic church with no lighting available. And did you like the photos?
Yeah.
You have to see it for your lighting situation.
Ask everything that you're the person that's gonna know what's gonna happen in your wedding. So if you need a Spanish speaker and you need a DJ that speaks Spanish, make sure that they can MC in Spanish.
Oh my God, these guys that can't talk in Spanish. Oh goodness.
Goodness. Just make sure that you're getting what you're paying for.
Yeah. And sometimes, it's not even like, oh, okay, they're an $800 DJ. Like, it's okay. We'll just take whatever. No, these are your memories.
Yeah.
This is someone knowing how to speak on the microphone. Because I've even talked to a couple DJs, and I'm like, oh, are you gonna do this? Or, no, I don't talk on the mic. So, what? Like, this is an event. That's what quinceañeras and weddings are. They are an event that require an MC, a host, someone to host it. And I remember somebody recently being like, oh, they said that their cousin's going to talk on their microphone. Oh, no. Having a cousin who's emotional, who's in the wedding party, you're leaving it to them to host. No, there's a difference between just saying, okay, so we're going to do the toast or we're going to do this. Like, an MC will know how to get the crowd together, shush the crowd, keep things moving along. And I just saw everything that day that I was just like, this is why you do not hire your homies.
Yeah.
You invest. Sometimes the investment is only like an extra $500, and it's like,
and it's worth it.
And it will make all the difference.
Yeah.
And we're not saying hire
No.
me, hire him, because I would even tell clients here when we do their, what's the word I'm looking for? When they come, when the consultation, when they come in and do their consultation, I don't pressure them to hire me. I'm just going to let what I have to say, sell them on it, and whether they want my services or not, because I don't want to convince someone to hire me, because what if their wedding or the quince is not a right fit for me? And so that's why I even have let people walk, and I'll tell them, hey, if you're still scouting or you're still unsure, or if my prices don't fit your budget, just keep in mind when you look for somebody, look for XYZ, look for these features in their photography. Make sure that they're not limiting on how many images you get, or are they not turning in any digitals and only prints and so forth. And this is why you want this is why you're looking for that. And the majority of the time, not even a week later, you know what, we're just gonna go with you. You know what you're doing, you're speaking knowledgeably. We like that you take an assistant. We like that, you will help us put together an order of events. We like that the, engagement is included, and so forth and so forth. But I mean, the conversation originally started with all of this on what makes someone professional. And yes, it's the knowledgeability, the knowing how to problem solve. One of my biggest pet peeves, and unfortunately it's something that I have run into in the last few years supporting other local small businesses, because I'm really big on trying to support, people on social media. And I understand not everyone's going to have a facility. Not everyone is going to be up to par in a certain, sense, not everyone's going to have a shop. Not everyone's going to, work the same. But to me, you find those people that are gonna have some sort of special. They're gonna have a special. They're gonna lure everyone in. Sometimes it's even like a prepaid special, and it could be that, say, they have the special back in November, and your event isn't until July of the following year, and they have to fulfill that contract because they accepted that special. They accepted that money from you already, or like. If that makes sense, like they're throwing out all these deals, they're throwing out all these specials, and then come time to fulfill, they don't follow through. Or they advertise these really nice products, and you order that same product and you don't get that same product. Yeah. And whether it be that, the elements of that day, just the weather wasn't permitting, or they forgot, or something in their product list didn't come in on time, whatever it was, the long story short is that their final product to you didn't come through. Whatever it is, whether it's a t-shirt order, so forth, right? My biggest, I think, pet peeve is, okay, I want to support your small business, your growing business. I think you have a great product at hand, which is why it caught my attention and I hired you. And we've even kind of heard stories from, like, even our clients, this is kind of like the beauty shop / barber shop. Like, they come in here, we talk, I try to keep it positive to where we don't talk shit, but they do sometimes vent a little bit, like, what do I do in this situation? And how do we handle this? And I just give them my opinion, and I just tell them, hey, still think, be a little forgiving. It is their side hustle, or it is this, sometimes people do things for fun on the side. Just keep all that in mind. But by all means, definitely speak up and say something if they haven't acknowledged it, which in my case, and it's happened a couple of times in the last year, I want to say last couple of years, where something wasn't fulfilled correctly or as promised. And instead of, I guess, hoping, I'm the type that I'm not confrontational. I won't say anything. I kind of gives people the benefit of the doubt of, if you're working on your business and creating this into a professional business, as a professional, you should never have to wait for the client to say something to you about an error that is obvious that you made.
You should acknowledge the elephant.
You should acknowledge it already, point out your error, and just say, hey, you know what? I apologize. I misunderstood. or you know what, I apologize, I was late, whatever it is.
Make it right.
Acknowledge it and then make it right. I can't tell you, even in, and I'll even, share this. Like, there have been a couple of times that I've been extremely late on photos. And sometimes it's just, I can't wrap my brain around how to fix a certain edit because sometimes things do go wrong, but I got to make sure that at the end of the day, my final result is the quality that I promote.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have to work things, or sometimes I just can't get a break to sit down and edit. And I will message the client, hey, you know what? I apologize for taking so long. It was a lot longer than had promised. You know what? I want to go ahead and make it right and acknowledge that it was late. And I want to throw in a free 16 by 20 framed photo. Or I want to, after you take a look at your pictures, let me know what you would like. You know what? There's even been times that I've thrown in a free photo book. You know what? I apologize that I forgot to do this, or that these photos didn't get turned in, and it's rare that happens, but you know what I mean? Like, there was one session that I forgot the lemons for the milk bath, and you do what you need to do as a business professional to make things right. And sometimes it means you got to give a little refund, or you got to give a little product away.
Product is a lot easier, or a little bit of service. Like if I know I messed up, I'm going to give them an extra hour on the house. I'm going to stay later, and it doesn't cost me anything. But it is a service that I'm giving them for free for a certain amount of time. If I feel like I did something wrong, of course.
There was one time I did a beach session, and the girl wanted, and it was a maternity session, she wanted a very specific edit. And it was something I'd never done before, and I was a little intimidated about it. And I was also, I don't know, I think I was in the middle of a busy season as well. Long story short, the photos took quite some time. I want to say almost like 2 months to turn in, which is very unlike me. And she had even posted on social media, like, I don't know how to ask her for them anymore. And I was just like, hey, you hadn't come talk to me yet, but I also, I had failed in communicating to her first before her posting that, and me saying, hey, I'm having a little trouble. Let me get to it. I will turn these in. At the end of the day, I mean, even if you feel like you can't get a hold of me, I leave my doors open, come and see me before you go posting on social media. Cause that's the last thing I want, because the amount of people, when you want to post drama, there's a Me Too movement happening right away of, oh yeah, this and that. I've had people even like comment on someone's post lying just to be like, oh, me too. Like, really, girl? Because I could have sworn I told you your pictures were ready and you never came to pick them up. Don't say I didn't turn them into you, And not and then I'm talking about very seldom has anything really come up like that. But it's because it's so seldom, I remember it.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so this girl had posted about it, and so then I did end up, trying my best, and I turned him in, and the rest of her gallery was really beautiful. And I told her, I said, you know what? Let me make this right, because this is not okay. I don't like to work like this. I'm acknowledging that I took a long time. I'm acknowledging that, hey, I kind of, I don't feel like I did the best edit on that special edit. It was supposed to be like lightning and all this other stuff that was supposed to happen. And I just didn't feel like I executed it well when I shot it. And so I said, you know what? When your baby is born, I will give you your free newborn session. And it was like a $300 or $400 session, which I could have been like, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I know you're not going to come back, but, sorry, like, here are your pictures. Versus, no, let me get you back into my studio. Let me redeem myself. Let me make things right, and you know what? Since then, she's continued to come back to me. She then did her baby's first birthday. She's done her family pictures here. Like, I made things right. And even people had jumped on her page and was like, hey, you know what? Go see her in person. It's not like Isabel to not turn things in. That's not how she works. Like, that's how much follow through I've always had with my clients, that people have went on there, complete strangers, and were like, hey, that doesn't sound like her. Yeah. Just check in with her, And I love the fact that people speak so highly of me, even when I'm not around, because I have always tried to be that example, and always tried to say, if I'm going to work like a professional, I'm going to behave like a professional. and I'm gonna make things right whenever I can. And I feel like there's times, like I said, I don't speak up because I try to give people. I also don't want to be like that person, because I know that some entrepreneurs do look up to me, and I don't want to also be the one that, like, you fucked up and didn't do a professional job, and that's not how you should be behaving, and blah blah blah. Like, I don't need to sound off on anybody. Like, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to acknowledge
Yeah.
that you messed up, acknowledge that it wasn't what I paid for, and we can talk about it, But I'm not going to hound you.
Yeah.
And that's not the way it's supposed to be, because if you're a professional, you're supposed to take care of your business, and you should care about your product and what people see and what you're putting out there, because I will tell you a story. When the wedding cake girl. So, long story short, I got married at some point, and I had paid someone that was starting their cake business, and she had displayed some beautiful cakes. Like, she was doing 2-tier, 3-tier, and she was going to school for it too. And I was like, cool. You know what? Let me give you an opportunity. I think you do great cakes, I paid her like $1,000, somewhere around there, for a cake, and she was supposed to do like some like really cute like desserts for my treat table. And I mean, she was talking like, you know what? Because I want to practice and I want to do a good job on this, I'm gonna like brush these things. I'm gonna do like your last name, like imprint it on the desserts. She was telling me all these things. I said, okay, cool. Well, how much do you want? Oh, okay. Well, it'll be like $1,000. Okay, $1,000. Cool. She was like, we could even do a taste test. I said, don't even worry about it, girl. Just do it, I showed her a picture of the cake I wanted, everything. Come the wedding day, it was 3 o'clock. The venue had opened at 11 to start letting vendors in. And was very specific with everyone, like, hey, I hate seeing vendors setting up once the event has started. Like, get there, set up. If you have to leave, that's fine, but then come back,
Yeah.
And I had told her, I said, I want the cake there by 3 o'clock. The event starts at 4. She's nowhere to be found. And so I call, and she's like, oh, I'm on my way. Oh, where's the venue? And I'm like, that's something I had already told you. Like, why are you asking me again where the venue's at, And so then she's like, oh, what time does it start? Like, it started at 3 o'clock. Technically for you, you should have been here at 3. Oh, the person that was supposed to help me didn't show up, blah, 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 blah. Keep in mind, I had already started researching on how to make cakes, because I was like, oh, I want to learn how to make them like myself, or, my house, or like just learning cake decorating for funsies. And I'm like, I know that you're supposed to bake that several days before. So really all that's left is decorating the cake, And so she was like, oh, we were baking and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, goodness gracious. Like, okay, so you're on your way? She's like, yeah, I'm on my way. 4 o'clock comes around, 5 o'clock comes around, 6 o'clock comes around. And my cousin, I was so, everywhere, I had even forgot about the cake. Yeah. And my cousin comes up to me at like 7, and she's like, your cake girl's not here. I'll see these. She's like, your cake girl's not here. Do you want me to go buy you a cake? Yeah. Because this is not okay. And I was like, you know what? No, it's okay. She'll show up. She said she was on her way. I'm having good faith. Like, girl, I can't imagine what you're doing that has taken 4 hours. So maybe she dropped it. I don't know. Something happened. But you know what? To me, in my head, I'm like, if you fucked up that cake, whatever you were working on, yeah, go to Vallarta and go get a cake. Go get 4 cakes and stack them on top of each other, I would have appreciated that than not have anything at all. The cake cutting time came around, and I had to tell the DJ, I was like, I don't know where she's at. Let's just skip it, There's no cake on this blank table. People were drinking at it because they thought it was like a bar table. There was no dessert, so there's these big black blank tables.
Oh, my goodness.
And I was just like, oh, my God, like, all right, as well, just roll with it, just roll with it. She didn't get there till like 10 o'clock.
That's
10
usually
p.m.
when...
Nowhere in Fresno, it takes more than 15 minutes.
Well, the thing is that, why would she even come at this point?
And so then it was a fondant cake. She showed up with just the cake and was going to do the fondant there.
Oh, no.
And was trying to do the fondant there. And then my cousin was just because she was a lot. I'm a lot nicer than her. She was, but it was well deserved. Verbal ass whooping.
Oh,
And I guess she told her something about like, like you need to refund Isabel. Like you better
Yeah.
give her half her money back. Like this is ridiculous.
That's
She goes,
bullshit.
half the guests are gone. So,
Yeah.
Cedes is tearing her a new one. And I saw the cake and me being polite, I was like, oh, it's so nice. You can see the crumbs
Oh,
coming off of it. It was
no.
the ugliest effing cake ever. It looked like I made it. And I was just done. They were like, do you want to cut the cake and serve it? I said, no. No. Get that fucking cake away from me. I was so pissed. I felt like it ruined it. I think that's what caused the divorce. But I'm gonna tell her, you caused my divorce. But so Osiris had told me, she was like, hey, she said she's gonna give you a refund. And I was like, okay, cool. All right, I'll like let her message me. I'm sure she feels like shit because she didn't even want to look at me, like she's embarrassed. And I didn't hear from her. I didn't hear from her. And I was like, you know what? That's cool. Your business is gonna last as short-lived as your little job was with me, Like I would have told everyone about you. And I would have promoted you and pushed you, and not that I'm saying I'm the source of, entrepreneurship, but like to have people in your corner that know people that are going to push you and vouch for you, like it speaks volumes when you're trying to start your business out. Yeah. So you know what I did for the next year and a half, 2 years? I told everyone that story. I was like, don't hire her.
Oh,
don't hire her at all. Like I wouldn't. And it was a lesson learned of like, I support all small businesses, but I'm like, maybe I'm not going to do it for such a big occasion. Yeah. And then that's why small business owners lose these big jobs to corporations. Yep. Because now I'm like, I'd rather go to a professional bakery and pay double, but I know I'm going to have a cake in hand when I need it. Yep. And that sucks because it's like, because of those experiences of people not following through, it makes people say, no, fuck it. Well, then we won't hand you the big jobs. Yeah. You can have the little tiny top jobs. Yeah. And that sucks.
And it comes out
because there are some wonderful entrepreneurs out there.
Make things right at the end of the day. Make things right. That's it. Make things right. If you drop the ball, own up to it. Whatever excuse, honestly, it really doesn't matter. But the fact that you take ownership of your L and you confront the situation and at least lay out options of this is what I could do. You let me know what you want. Either a refund or
have a solution.
If there's time, I can do this, or you have credit, like whatever. At least give me options so we're not looking at each other like.
There have been times that I have lost more money than I'd made on the original session. And well, I think it was maybe like once or twice, but in the effort of I need to make this right. Yeah. I need to make this right. Something didn't happen right, or I forgot something. Let me just make this right. I might eat a portion of the session price, but my reputation is priceless. Yep. And I have invested into my name, and my name holds weight to where I will let go of any money that I need to keep that name and momentum behind, to keep that momentum behind my name. I value what people say about me, what they say behind my back, how people defend my work. And I have seen it, and I've seen it on social media platforms where people talk very highly of me, and I have built that. And I have built that by acknowledging faults. I have built that by making things right. Yeah. Even just holding, customer raffles, customer appreciation. Like, hey, you know what, guys? I value you guys. Let me give out a free raffle. Let's do this. Let's do that. Positive energy. I don't come in here with shitty energy. I behave the same way with my 10 a.m. client as I do my 8 p.m. client. I don't let them feel like, oh, well, she's tired or, oh, this and that. I saw somebody earlier this week on social media post about like, I'm not going to give out discounts no more. I'm not going to charge these cheap prices no more. I'm going to raise my prices from now on because I'm not getting paid enough for what I'm doing and blah, blah, blah. Girl, you chose your prices.
Yeah.
Come through.
Yeah.
Come through because you advertised something. People paid you for it. They booked you. We don't care about your complaints. No. As a customer, they don't care about your complaints. They don't care about that you're tired or not tired. If you're tired, stop taking so many jobs.
Yep.
Don't be greedy. Take what you can handle and come through and do a beautiful job. Mm-hmm. Don't half-ass it. Don't complain. Don't, and the last thing you need to be doing is complaining on social media.
Oh my God.
Because then it's going to make your clients feel some type of way.
You are going to ruin your business.
Because imagine if you did a job for that client, for a client that weekend, and then you on Monday morning post about how you don't want to charge this or you don't want to do that, blah, 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 blah. And that client paid you in full and that client, treated you like a professional, and because you were tired or because you were overbooked, now you're venting, it's going to make that client feel like, oh, well, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I guess I won't book you no more. Mm-hmm. You can't handle your workload. Yeah. And that sucks because you're kind of making your clients feel like they're at fault when at the end of the day,
that's not their problem.
That's not their fault that you threw out a special that you could not handle later.
Yep.
There's time. My sessions range from $80 to $200, depending on if you're a monthly client or a regular client. And sometimes the $80 job is a little harder than the $200 mini. But at the end of the day, I'm going to come through and fulfill my contract with them. Yeah. I'm not going to complain to my $80 client, oh my God, your baby was so difficult. I'm not doing that price no more, blah, blah. No, you know what? Because I have another 180 clients this month that the one isn't going to make me go and complain on social media. Yeah. It's okay. Not every job is going to be perfect. Make it right. Make it the best. Make it successful, and don't complain through it. Mm-hmm. To be able to make money with a craft or a hobby is already a blessing in itself. Yeah. That you should just be thankful that you had people that spent their money with you. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You look tired.
Yeah.
I can see you kind of dozing off. It's on our time right now. It's 1:30 in the morning. But I just wanted to touch base on that. What would make a business professional? And I know that we kind of talk a little bit in circles, but I hope we did hit some good points. And kind of anyone, that's an entrepreneur that's, getting starting with their business on what to do, at what point do they feel like, okay, I'm ready to go pro, Yeah.
And it
take things into consideration.
It takes experience. So if you're not there yet, don't feel bad.
Take the small jobs first.
Yeah, take all the small jobs. Take any job. If you know that you really, this is what you want to do, whatever it is, take any job. And if you're 1 year in, do it for the next 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Because the more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it. And once you know for sure. You used to take
all kinds of weird jobs, huh? For whatever pay.
I would take anything. I would take anything. And
house parties, outside events.
Anything at all. Yeah.
Fame. Yeah.
It makes you better at the end of the day. But that's just part of the grind. At some point you'll start realizing okay, my work speaks for itself now. And that's when you can start, building your packages, and
maybe then even you can start saying, no, I don't want to offer that. Yeah. The amount of children's first birthday parties that I would photograph out in the sun in the middle of the summer. And I took whatever job. Mm-hmm. And some of them I probably paid I probably charged $100, $50, and I was there for hours. Mm-hmm. Or I would drive from here to Madera because it was a family member of a family that I work with here in town. So here I am driving. It was to Merced. I would drive to Merced for a birthday party for $150 and drive back. But I took every single little job. I was shooting concerts for $50, but it made me that much of a better photographer. Mm-hmm. It got me connected. It gave me the practice so that when also I reached that level of People respected my prices. They respected my work. I didn't have to convince people to book me. It was just off of purely what they saw. They were willing to pay the price.
Yeah.
And then I could say, I'm sorry, I don't shoot first birthdays. I'm sorry, I don't shoot outdoor weddings in the middle of summer. We have a rule here from June to the end of August. We don't shoot outdoor pictures.
Yeah.
We shoot solely studios. You ain't about to have my hefty ass outside sweating, you know? And I know that pictures in the valley don't come out good during the summertime like that. So what's the point of me also putting your family through that misery and you sweating your makeup off when I know the outcome already? And I feel better just saying, you know what? We don't do it.
Yep.
Then when you reach 20 years in, 10 years in, can you start to kind of decide I do this and I don't do that? I've walked away from a lot of stuff. Like I thought I was going to be a wedding photographer, like full-blown, full-time wedding photographer. And now I only book 1 or 2 a month at max. Once I reach my 1 or 2 that month, I'm done for the year. I used to book sometimes double jobs on a weekend, and I don't do it anymore. I just, you know what? I make good money at the studio, and this is where I excel, and I don't want to bite off more than I can chew, so that I'm not posting on social media complaining about my workload.
But I am fully available for weddings, so hit me up. Yeah. Okay.
If I'm gonna pimp him out.
Let me know. Okay?
Work him every Saturday. I want him out of here. He is stay-at-home dad, daddy daycare. You know, the rest of the days, Saturdays, get his ass out of here.
I'm booked all summer, so
it has to be after summer.
Yeah.
And you guys, please, and this is just for any wedding or quince clients, please, 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 plan ahead.
Yeah.
The amount of clients that I have turned away for the month of May, I'm like, it's the month of your wedding, and you're looking for a photographer?
I've never said no so much this year.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, it's a month
away.
That's not enough. Yeah. I'm right
Please
now.
Plan ahead.
Right now, because of winter, because we're so busy, I'm completely booked for the year, because now I have to wait till next year.
That's how I am too, because of Christmas season, and I cut off. I already booked a bunch of weddings for. I have events in. I have August, September.
I have like 1 or 2 in October, November, but those like family friends that we have.
And whatever months, even now, like I don't have any weddings in June this year, but my weekends are already booked up. Anyway, so even if I wanted to, I can't. July's already booked up with clients. Like we work ahead of our schedule, especially people who are completely self-employed in their business. We are working months and months ahead to secure our income, because we've got little ones, we've got, business bills to, over our heads. So we want to make sure that, our income is secure. But also, when you ask for an event, you're asking for an entire day of us to say, okay, I am solely yours that day. Yep. So we're gonna charge that price. And then also that means we need to know months ahead. You need to plan those things. We can only do 1 wedding a day. He can only do a DJ 1 wedding a day. So it's not like certain catering companies or a girl that does dessert tables. She can probably
I'm a hot
2
commodity
or 3
right now. Okay,
shut up.
I'm it right now. All right, get that straight. You need me.
It's the same thing with the venue. You book your venue sometimes a year in advance. Why? Because they can only do 1 event per Saturday, and they can only accommodate your event that Saturday that you're looking for. It's the same thing with certain businesses. So like right now, our schedule is permitting us to only book for 2025. Dude, I never thought we'd get there. That's what's up. But, and we know we're good.
Yeah.
We know we're good. But yeah, 2025 is, you please don't procrastinate. Especially if you do care about your pictures and you want memories, if you do care about the quality of your party, if you're spending thousands, spend the right money into the right entertainment.
Yeah.
No one's going to care if you had it fancy catered or you had a taquiza, to be honest with you. No one's going to be like, oh, that's what they got to eat. No, they're hungry. They're just happy.
Hungry.
They're hungry. They're just happy
By
to
the
eat.
time, if you have a ceremony that starts at 2, 3 o'clock, 5, 6 o'clock, they're hungry.
People are hungry.
That cocktail hour, the little charcuterie board that you guys have set up is not enough. Okay? Did I say that right? Charcuterie?
No, I'm going to let you say
it.
So, anyways,
Shish kebab.
He's just thinking about food right now. Stop with the fat life. Anyways, so yeah, people aren't gonna remember that. They are gonna remember it flowing. They are gonna remember it being, oh, it was such a nice wedding and the music was good and it was fun. The DJ was having fun. They do remember that. They also remember if the DJ had lighting or not, or if that shit was just dark. Yeah. Especially if you're having a wedding out in a ranch, you have to make sure that your DJ has lighting. Because otherwise, once that sun drops, it
inform us that it's at a ranch with no lights, so we know for sure that we're gonna bring more lights. Because we don't know.
The same thing with photographers.
Communicate.
Yeah, communicate that. But anyways, just keep that in mind. Everyone wants these outdoor ranch, venues, and yes, they are beautiful. Not to knock them, they are beautiful. But from May to September, they are so hot that I've actually turned one down before.
I have one
because
I'm
July. I'm not standing in the sun.
One in July, I already regret it.
Yeah,
I don't want to do it.
It looks beautiful.
I don't want to do it.
It looks beautiful on TikTok, or when you see the ones that are in Minnesota. Well, yeah, it's cool weather, probably year round for all I know. You know what I mean? It snows there. It's cool. It's like having it in Yosemite. Of course, the weather is nice on this barn, and that you see on these TikTok videos. But we are the valley.
Yeah.
Be indoors.
It's dry.
I know certain DJs that don't take them at all. If they are outdoors, they don't take them at all.
Yeah.
Just be kind to your guests, and just keep in mind that if it is really hot, half of your guests are gonna go home as soon as dinner is over.
Oh yeah.
And just plan on
summer,
that.
Oh, it sucks. Yeah. I've had some. They leave early, and I feel so bad. I feel so bad. I've had to stop an hour early. Yeah.
Yeah, because people.
And an hour. That's a long time, because if your event started at 4 or 5, that means your event is done by between 10 and 11. So if they leave at 9, that's a big difference.
everyone being gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind when you guys book. But yeah, you should be talking to your photographer and DJ first. Once you get your venue booked, talk to your photographer and DJ of your choice first, and talk to them about the venue. Talk to them about, your expectations. Maybe they'll even give you tips, on what to look for, what to do. I'm going to always say, please don't do outside weddings. Don't kill us like that. But I know that they're beautiful and, I guess. But I just...
The last one...
I've photographed a few that are beautiful, but as the worker, I'm hot, I'm sticky, I'm running around. April's not bad at all. October's not bad either.
Yeah.
Dominique, my assistant, is getting married in January, and I absolutely love that for my body. I love that for my body. Yeah. I'm not photographing it. I'm in it, but I'm okay, I know that I'm going to stay cool all day. Yeah. But
we should make matching hoodies, just me and you.
For the late evening.
Because we're going to be out there. It's going to be cold.
I don't know. I don't want to draw attention.
It's me and you. We're already going to draw attention.
But it's not our wedding.
I don't care.
It's about Dominique.
Okay.
You can't say I don't care.
I'm the DJ. I'm going to have most of the, I'm the entertainer. I'm going to have all the attention after they say I do.
So then it's your party.
After that, it's all me.
Dominique, do you hear this?
And after that, it's my show.
Look, okay, with that said, everyone, you guys, good night. We're going to wrap it up right here because Mr. Big Head over here.
Make sure to subscribe. Please comment.
Subscribe. And this is going to be a weekly thing, so bear with us with the ride.